Hello everybody and welcome to Nostalgia Trip, where we go for a ride and we ask the age-old question. Do the games of our childhood hold up? Will the trip down memory lane be a good one? Or will it be something you won't be visiting anytime soon? I'm your host Guaka, and today we're looking at the one, the only, the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers for the PS2. So rally your troops and horses, because we're going to be tracking down the heart of this intense hack-and-slash action game for the PS2, bro. We ride, brothers!
You cannot wield it. None of us can.
The ring must be destroyed.
So, fun fact guys, back in the day, this was actually the last Lord of the Rings PS2 game I played. I played Return of the King first, then Fellowship, then the Third Age, and then the Two Towers. This was because the game was literally sold out everywhere for some reason, but finally, a couple years later, I managed to get a copy, and damn, I had a freaking blast playing this back in the day. I remember the set pieces and just the overall vibe of the Peter Jackson trilogy being implemented in the game so damn well, and I actually felt like I was in a lot of films. I remember I didn't complete it as a youngster, but today is going to be different. I'm going to complete this damn game for my younger self. But while I'm playing through, will it hold up to the memory of my youth? Well, there's only one way to find out. So, let's go for a trip, fellas. The story of the Two Towers video game focuses mainly on the first two films of Peter Jackson's trilogy, actually. Despite it being called Two Towers, it's got that OG stuff in there. Unlike the Fellowship of the Ring PS2 game, which tried to be a replacement for the experience, Two Towers is 100% just a movie tie-in game. It uses scenes, locations, and music from the movie, and it uses the movie as its cutscenes, with some occasional in-engine ones. The game at the beginning also seemed to hint like it was going to follow a slightly different type of narrative where Aragorn was telling Eowyn the events while he was in Helm's Deep as it builded up to the finale where you battled in Helm's Deep, but it kind of just stopped being the case halfway through the game, which is kind of weird, but also I'm kind of glad because some of the transitions for this were just absolutely terrifying. I also think they maybe stopped doing this because the game ended up actually being a pre-release to the film, releasing around 2 months before the game to actually build some hype. This was actually really cool because it allowed big Lord of the Rings fans to get some sneak peeks at the new film coming out, including a big spoiler if you hadn't read the books, which is when, I mean, it's also cool because like half the game is the Fellowship and half the game is the Two Towers, so instead of playing the old Fellowship of the Ring PS2 game, you can just play the Two Towers and Return of the King to get the full Fellowship experience, especially if you're mainly just a movie fan, which I definitely was at the time as a kid. So playing this was really great, and even playing it now, it's like still holds up pretty well in terms of trying to display these specific set pieces. This isn't a replacement for the movie or the book at all. 100% you need to know what's going on, or you just kind of need to have the gist of what you think is going to happen, because it tries not to spoil the story while showing some of the cool set pieces, so you can still enjoy it without watching the film, but you still definitely need to be a fan. And what it does have for a story is pretty great. I mean, it's a great trilogy, so any scenes being showed in here is pretty sick. But enough of that. Let's talk about the main meat of the game, and what makes it so banging, which is the super chaotic gameplay. During the 3 hours you'll be running through this game, you'll be hacking and slashing your way through all the key set pieces of the Fellowship and the Two Towers, which honestly is pretty damn sick. Now, the game offers you these 3 main characters to play, as well as an extra secret character, but we'll get to them later. The 3 main characters are, well, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. These dudes are all Chads, and they all kind of control kind of similar, so we can talk about them all at the same time. You know, like I said, the Two Towers is a hack and slash game, but it does have somewhat of a pretty neat combo system. So during the game, you'll start off with some basic combos, but as you play and you kill more enemies, depending on how stylish you are, you'll get different rankings and more EXP points, which unlocks new combo strings for you to use, which get you better stuff, and it honestly works pretty damn well. While the button strings are the same across all characters, like I said, each character is slightly different. Aragorn kind of being an all-rounder who does
ninja things out of the wood.
Legolas being really fast but his attacks aren't as impactful, and then you got Gimli who's slow as hell but he hits like a fucking shithouse of bricks. The game does encourage you to finish every level as every character, and honestly, if you are going to play through this game, I'd highly recommend sticking to a single character, because you're going to need some of those combos and counter moves for the tougher enemies later on. Especially, I'd highly recommend grabbing the Bane of Saruman, because that helps so much with the freaking berserkers who I hate. Now, I personally stuck with Mr. Legolas. He felt great to control, and I loved using his bow as well as switching to his daggers to finish off enemies. It worked great and it felt super duper sick. The gameplay of Two Towers really shines in these really small, cramped arenas. The battle is chaotic, there's heaps of enemies, and it really feels like a super crazy movie set. One particular location that really highlights this is Balin's tomb. It was super duper tight and chaotic with orcs pouring through the freaking cracks and goblins coming out from every precipice. It was fucking sick as all hell. Boromir's right there, let me play as him! Amon Hen was also amazing, fighting off all the hordes of enemies, sprinting through this lush, beautiful background, the music building from the freaking Howard Shore amazing composer, while hearing Boromir's Horn of Gondor blowing in the background, like added a sense of urgency, like I needed to fight through these enemies as fast as I could to save Boromir. But the Two Towers really excels in its last 3 stages, the Battle of Helm's Deep.
I got 2.
There are enough for us both, Gimli.
You know, I've seen a lot of people complain about these particular levels, saying it's way too difficult and hard and the spike is insane. Even when I was younger, I remember it being really difficult and, well, I couldn't actually finish the game because it was so damn hard. But playing it now when I'm older, I kind of understand what they were going for in the big spike in difficulty. I mean, Helm's Deep is supposed to be this near impossible battle, and I thought they really captured that feeling of desperation, you know? Each stage is only around 15 to 20 minutes, but they feel like hours as you struggle every step of the way to fight off endless Uruk-hai hordes. Honestly, I will never forget the moment when the gate was nearly destroyed on the last mission, and not 1, but 2 motherfucking trolls hopped down into the walls. But damn, I did it, and that sense of accomplishment felt super amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a few low points in the game in terms of gameplay, which is honestly the 3 Rohan levels, and while they are cool and they look just like the movie pieces, they just don't have the same vibe as the other levels, and one level's just completely wasted, just being a really boring warg boss fight where you just literally stand in the water and shoot him for 10 minutes. But, you know, there's also so many other great enemies and great boss fights, you know, like fighting Lurtz at Amon Hen, which I thought was really cool because he was swinging at me and I didn't know how to beat him, but I ran away and then his weapon stuck into the pillar and I was like, oh, I thought that was like really cool, you know, it's like a little basic mechanic, but it was great. And the fight of the monster in the lake, it was like, you know, we got to chop off limbs and shoot it. It was a bit more dynamic in the music building with that. Just Howard Shore just adding this shit just made it so damn good. I really enjoyed these, you know, the few boss battles that we actually did get. And the battle at Weathertop as well was pretty damn sick. Having to run back to the fire to relight your torch and just trying to keep the ring race away was really sick. And it got super damn hectic, especially when Frodo was, you know, screaming and running around. I just really wish out of all the characters, I did get to play as Gandalf. You know, I would have loved to see a Balrog fight as well as a duel with Saruman, like kind of like what they did in Lego Lord of the Rings. But I kind of understand why they didn't put him in, as he would only be able to be used for a couple of scenes because, well...
Fly, you fools!
You know, all in all, the gameplay is pretty damn solid. The combat flows nicely, the level ups add a nice mix to keep gameplay fresh, and after finishing the game, you even unlock a plethora of bonus content. The bonus content in this game is really cool, especially if you think about the era it was set in. You know, being able to watch these trailers and exclusive interviews with these actors back in the day would have been really cool because, you know, you wouldn't have had like big things like YouTube, or if we did, they were very small. I don't know when YouTube was made, don't sue me, bro. But then now, they're just like this time capsule from the early 2000s when the world was full of Lord of the Rings hype. I really like just seeing some parts on how the game was made, you know, seeing concept art. It's just a really nice inclusion for a Lord of the Rings fan, and just going back and just seeing the history of such an iconic film series. It's just really cool to see. But where the bonus content really comes in is once you get to a certain level as a character, you can unlock a special interview of that character and their opinion on the game, and they have some interesting things to say.
Come.
But after that, you unlock a secret mission as that character, which unlocks a 4th character. Can you guess who? Motherfucking Isildur, son of Elendil of Númenor, bro. This dude is fucking sick as all hell. So after unlocking Isildur, you do unlock the bloody power of Orthanc. 20 floors of mayhem where you fight against Saruman to try and get to the top. You know, I actually grinded Isildur to max level just so I could do this.
It was in this moment, when all hope had faded, that Isildur, son of the king, took up his father's sword.
You know, they 100% didn't need to include this, and it might not mean much to the average fan, but having some extra bonus content is always pretty damn awesome. You know, as a kid, I didn't really care because I just wanted to get back to fighting and seeing how cool it was, but you know, when I'm older now, I can really appreciate this as like a time capsule thing, and it's really cool to see. I mean, you know, I just love this kind of stuff. It's great to see the background of a game and what people were doing at the time. You know, you can really see the passion for Lord of the Rings in this, like not just the Peter Jackson trilogy, but just the love for the whole series and the Tolkien world as a whole. You know, each location is just made with such accuracy, and the fact that they could use the assets from the Peter Jackson film to make this just makes it look so damn good. I love the effort the devs went in to make this movie tie-in game. Like, they genuinely had no reason to go so hard in this game, but I love the passion they brought into it. Thanks, bro.
I'm so excited and I can't wait till I have my copy.
Honestly, man, The Two Towers is a pretty damn dope game. While it is just a movie tie-in game, I reckon you could still get some enjoyment out of it playing it. Even if you didn't like the movies or you didn't watch them, it's still pretty damn fun to play as, to be honest. The combat feels great, there's heaps of bonus content for true Lord of the Rings fans, and it has a lot of replay value, you know, playing those secret missions, watching those cutscenes again, watching Viggo Mortensen in his prime, I mean, watching Aragorn do some fighting and stuff. You know, despite the game taking only a few hours to finish, you could easily sink like 20 plus hours into this game, leveling up all the characters and everything. And with that, I can happily say that The Two Towers hella holds up to the memory. If you want to play this for yourself, you can pick it up on the OG Xbox and the PS2 for 10 to 15 bucks, which is a really good deal for this game. Or, if you want to pay the Nintendo tax, you can buy the GameCube version for like $40 to $60. I hope you guys enjoyed this nostalgia trip. If you want to ride shotgun with me again, hit that subscribe and tell me where we should drive to next. I've been your host Guaka, and I gotta remind you to keep shredding. See ya!
You shall pay for your arrogance. Apu buya